Hear from our partner organizations to learn how your pledge makes an impact in the greater community.
Vets in Recovery was brought together almost 10 years ago by Pinky and Bill. It's a meeting that us veterans can put our frustrations and aggravations on the table and leave them there and go home a much better person. We meet on Wednesday night at 6:30 in Platts Hall. We're getting veterans from all branches of the service and all decades of service. And the fact that people know that we're around, it brings them out of the woodwork and stops the isolation. It gets people to be in fellowship. That we found a home here, and the church takes very good care of us with that stability for the veterans that are coming. You know, they know we're going to be here at 6:30 on Wednesday night. And that's tremendous to have out there for information for vets.
The Cub Scouts that I've had 2 kids go through, we have about 65 kids and their families.
We have a troop that has about 40 boys in it and about 7 girls in it at this point. So we're a combined troop.
We're gearing up to do a huge food drive. The food will go over to the food pantry across the street. And last year we brought in a little over 7,000 usable items.
St. James is our chartered organization, so they provide the place where we can come and meet. They allow us a place to keep our equipment and support us in basically every way. Without them, we wouldn't have a troop.
Yeah, big thanks for the space and the facility and the chance to keep going with all these kids and families. We reach 45 plus. We reach over 100 families probably through both the pack and the troop. So that's a huge number of people in the community that aren't necessarily connected to St. James otherwise, that we get a chance to serve and help them serve the community.
So the community garden has been going on now for, I guess, about 10 plus years. We started out with just kind of 2 rows in the middle of the field and some plastic fencing, and now we're up to 5 rows with some deer fencing and groundhog fencing. We have about 45 plots in the garden, and we're pretty much every year we have every plot they claimed on. It brings people in to, or makes people aware of St. James that wouldn't necessarily be aware of or connected to St. James otherwise. Most of the people who garden our community garden are not actually parishioners. They're just locals in the area, especially ones that say have moved into townhome communities or 55 plus communities, and they don't have the option to garden at their house. It's a community garden for a couple. One, it is a community garden in the sense that anyone in the community can join. We don't have any requirements to join. Anyone can join. Yeah, we ask for a donation to help support it, but no one is required to do so. The gardeners themselves over time have kind of built up a community. They, when you've been gardening with people for 10 years plus years, or some of them a little more recently, 5 years, but still get used to interacting with them and seeing them every May, April, May we see, and then running all the way through September, October.
The History Center basically supports the history of this parish and the generations of people whose shoulders we stand upon, who kept us going. It has far-reaching, both locally and nationally, for people coming to us looking for genealogy information. It's not the St. James History Center, so it's not just the history of the church, even though that is the priority. It's also an extension of history of the local Evansburg into Collegeville area. There is no budget for the History Center. The building is provided and cared for through the parish, but we get whatever we do at this point is through donations. Generally, when people come in looking for genealogy information, they are generous. Appreciate the fact of not only getting the information, but the time that someone from the committee gives to spend time with them. I think preserving the history is important. As I said, we're standing on the shoulders of those generations who came before us, and it gives us incentive to make sure that this place will be here for generations ahead of us.
Well, over the past 4 years since I've been here at St. James, we've pretty much had 4 major drives, Deacon's Drives. What they are is the deacons throughout the diocese, they get together And then they're commissioned by the bishop to come up with a program for that year, and then they'll try to think of things that are really needed in the community. St. James supports all these drives through all their giving, and then they come back too and then ask them, where do these things go? Who gets them? And, how are they being used? I've seen it in the outreach house, and I've seen it pretty much everywhere I've gone that we've distributed things, to the folks that are in need. And you just see, how we're impacting their lives, that they really are appreciative. It's not, I need this, and off they go, and give me this, and off they go, almost to the person, they're always thankful. They're always so gracious, so yeah, I wish we could make a bigger impact, but we are making an impact, and and St. James is definitely part of that whole community that's helping everybody.
The Blue Comets is a motorcycle club right out of Skip back here. We're local. I have reeled in the Blue Comets as an organization to help me support the outreach house with food drives, clothes drives. Pretty much whenever I'm told there's a need, I gear that kind of a fundraising drive with the Blue Comets. We draw in more people from an outer area. We had the outreach house at our Lansdale Bike Night this year, and we'll do that again next year. So it's like just trying to get the outreach message out there, and the fact that the Blue Comets do their best to support the outreach house makes me a happier person.
The Lower Providence Business Association is a networking and business group that's been established for about 15 years here in the Lower Providence community. By getting involved with these local businesses and letting them know what that white church with the red door there in Lower Providence, what do they do? Who are they? We wanted to let people know who we are and what we're about. We've also gotten from several of the businesses here in Lower Providence referrals to the Job Club looking for new opportunities for people who are out of work that needed help. The Job Club here at St. James was started by Jim Earhart. We try to help people who are in career transition or are actually still working and looking for a new career. We help them with simple things such as updating their LinkedIn profile. We help them with resume writing. We help them with networking activities and events they should attend. We do mock interviews with them to help them be prepared. By being part of this association, it has really shined a light on St. James and the Lower Providence community, that now they know who we are and they're very impressed with what we do.
The St. James Outreach House works hard to provide clothing and food to those in need. We take donations. We also have a very small budget that we go out and purchase food with. So the clothing is completely donated. We rely on primarily the parish. Many community groups also have food drives for us and clothing drives, but we do get a lot more food donations just from the general public, from the parishioners. It's a big deal to have to come to a place that's effectively a safe zone, and they're able to have the dignity of shopping like a regular shopper in a regular grocery store and choose what they want. It's an opportunity for us to give back and for us to show a side that a lot of folks don't often see. So an interesting story, we do go grocery shopping at a local grocery store, and the gentleman at the cashier's station who rang me out I said, oh, I'm shopping for St. James Outreach, and the man in his vest with his name tag got very emotional and said that he and his wife had actually been clients of St. James Outreach House, and that he was able to get this job at this grocery store, became a checker, and didn't need our services. And it had been almost a year, but he said he was a former client and got very emotional, which, from our perspective, that's exactly who we service. We don't know who they are, we don't know what their troubles are, and we try to be very objective and very fair and empathetic, and not ask questions about why this situation is going on, but simply how can we help you. So that was a surprise to me, and I was very happy to know that he was gainfully employed and didn't need our services, but he actually said, now after the pandemic, we're not sure how this is going to go. So, and I said, well, we're here. But it was interesting that he felt comfortable to share that with me and got emotional telling his story.
These are just a few of the organizations that St. James partners with and supports. Your pledge sends ripples through the community, making an impact that keeps growing. Thank you for making a difference.